This Sunday, September 25th, is National Day of Remembrance for murder victims. A victim assistance organization is holding an event for survivors to honor their loved ones and their memories. To tell us more is Vanessa Helms. Vanessa, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
And we're talking about Homicide Survivors, Inc. I said an organization was putting this together. When was this organization, or why was this organization put together?
So in 1981, a woman named Gail Leland, who had a 14-year-old son, he was murdered. And she, in dealing with the aftermath of the murder, realized that there wasn't a lot of support out there for parents who had lost a child to homicide. And so with connecting with other people, she formed the first chapter of an organization called Parents of Murdered Children. Okay. And that happened in 1982. And it was basically an organization that was a group of survivors helping other survivors. So having sort of impromptu support groups in each other's homes, offering support over the phone, getting together to just, have that connection, that common connection, and support each other. And then as time went on, Gail realized that she wanted to offer support to survivors through the criminal justice process as well. And as parents of murdered children, that wasn't part of their bylaws. They weren't able to do that. So she decided to start to branch off and form Homicide Survivors. And so then they offered services through the criminal justice system as well to provide support in that arena, because at that time there was really very few rights for crime victims at all. And so they were just an additional support for survivors at that time. And since then, we've grown and expanded the organization and continued to serve survivors of people who have lost a loved one to homicide.
And I know you said about those services. What are some of the services that are available?
So we break our services into sort of three categories: support, advocacy, and assistance. So we can start to work with family members of someone who's lost a loved one to a homicide right after it's occurred, to assist them in navigating sort of the confusion and overwhelming process with law enforcement investigation, with making funeral arrangements, with the media, and then can continue to work with them for as long as they need. So if they need assistance through the criminal justice process, if a criminal investigation, if a criminal case happens, we can help them in that way as well. We offer support through support groups. We have a number of support groups, 2 a month in Tucson and 1 in Cochise County as well, where survivors can, again, meet and talk with other people who are going through similar experiences to make that connection. And we can work with people for as long as they need us, for years and years after homicides occurred, in whatever way we can assist. We also can offer financial assistance to survivors to help support them with things like funeral costs, with things like traveling to come to court, traveling for funerals, or other emergency expenses, things that come up that you wouldn't even realize would be something that you would need because your life is completely turned upside down after something like this happens. So we can offer that financial assistance as well for some survivors. And
I did mention this Sunday is a National Day of Remembrance. What are we doing what is the organization doing to help everyone on that day?
So we're hosting a memorial event at Reed Park this Sunday in the evening. The National Day of Remembrance was started based on the day of the death of the daughter of the founders of Parents of Murdered Children. Her name was Lisa. She was murdered when she was 19 years old on September 25th. And so in 2007, Congress established that day, September 25th, as the National Day of Remembrance for murder victims. So we like to have an event every year for families to be able to come together and remember their loved ones as well. So it's a gathering, kind of a large support group in ways, but the community is invited as well to offer that support. We'll have music and food and a candlelight ceremony as well.
So we're, of course, going to give the information about that one more time, but just on a final note, what would you like the public to know about those that are kind of dealing with that scenario?
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's hard. They don't know how to react, how to interact. And I think for survivors, some of the things that they need most is patience and persistence, for someone to not give up on them, to continue to say, hey, I'm here for you, I'm thinking of you, and to talk about their memories of the loved one as well, so that they know, the survivors know, that their loved one won't ever be forgotten.
I think that's a great word of wisdom to others. And of course, like you said, the Day of Remembrance is for those that, are in the predicament and those just to come and support. So what a great way to, of course, hold those memories and, of course, to let everyone know that we are there to support. So thank you so much for coming. I'm going to, again, give those details one more time on the event.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you can attend the National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims this Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. at Reed Park, Ramada number 3. For more details, call 207-5012 or visit azhomicidesurvivors.org.